Hi, and welcome to another Community Learning Alternatives video. It's Kayla, your Babel instructor, and today we're going to go over multi-digit multiplication. Before we kind of get into that, I'm just going to review some place value, what multiplication really is, and then we'll work our way up into a multi-digit multiplication number. Okay, so to start, we're going to talk about place value. This is going to be important when we go into the multi-digit multiplication. So that it will explain why we put zeros in the places that we do and kind of what the concept is behind those. So to start, when we talk about place value, if I were to write out this number, we would say 12,345. So we know that each of these has a different number. So the 5 represents the ones column. The 4 represents the tens. The 3 represents the hundreds. And then we have the thousands and the 10,000s. Running out of room. Okay. So now, this is just important to remember, especially when we start moving into these numbers here. So the 4 and the 3, the tens and the hundreds. Because when we are in multi-digit multiplication, when we move over to these numbers, we're going to be adding a 0 at the end. But we'll get into that a little bit deeper once we get there. But I just wanted to have a kind of overview of place value. Okay, so now when we talk about multiplication, I'm just going to write out 3 times 5. So multiplication is just a more condensed form of adding a bunch of numbers together that are the same number. So 3 times 5 is equal to 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same as adding 3 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, and we both know that they both equal to 15, right? 3 times 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6. And plus 3, 12. Plus 3 is 15. Right? Okay. So, now if I were to do 33 times 5. Now we're looking at, because we have 2 digits on the top, we always start with the right and work our way left. Okay, so then we have 3 times 5, which we know is 15. We just did that. So we can't put 15 down here. So what we have to do is we have to put the 5, and much like addition, we carry the 1. Okay, so now we have 3 times 5 again, which we know is 15, but we have to add the 1, which is equal to 16. Okay, makes sense? Great, let's move on. Okay, so now we're going to get into the multi-digit. So if I were to do 123 times 45. Okay. So we know we're going from left to right, and we're starting with the 5. So we have 3 times 5, which we know is 15. So we write the 5, and we carry the 1. We have 2 times 5, which is equal to 10, less this 1, which we know is 11. And we carry the 1. So what we're carrying is not just the 1, but we're carrying the 10 value. Okay? So now we have 1 times 5, which is equal to 5, plus 1. which is equal to 6. Okay, so that's that part done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross out the ones that I've already used because I don't want to get confused when we move on to the 4. So now we move on to the 4. So because we're now dealing, so now we know that this is the ones column, right? And this is the tens column. So now that we've moved over 1, we need to put a 0 here to signal that we're moving over to the next number. So now we have 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. Put the 2 there, and what do we do with the 1? We carry it, good. So then we have 2 times 4, which is equal to 8, plus the 1 that we carried over, which is equal to 9. And we're still keeping everything lined up in the base question, in the base. And then our last one is 1 times 4, which is equal to 4. Okay, so that's it for the multiplication portion. So now we move into addition. 5 plus 0 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. 9 and 6 is 15. And 4 plus 1, because we've carried the 1 over, is 5. So 123 times 45 is equal to 5,535. Awesome. So what happens if we have 3 digits multiplied by 3 digits? We'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so if we were to have 123 again, multiplied by 456. I know I'm very original with numbers. Okay, so we're working our way from right to left, and we're going to start with the 6. So we have 3 times 6, which is 6, 12, 18. So we write the 8, and we carry the 1. Right, and next we have 2 times 6, which is 12, plus the 1 that we have, that we carried over, which is 13. And carry the 1 again. Now we have 1 times 6, which is equal to 6, plus the 1 that was carried over, which is equal to 7. So now we're moving over into the tens column. So we add a 0 to signify that. So now we're talking, so that's the first one. That's step 1. So step 2 is now we're going to focus on the 5. So we have 3 times 5, which we know very well now to be 15. So we put the 5 here and we just carry on, and we're going to cross out those ones so we don't get mixed up. Okay. Next we have 2 times 5, which is equal to 10, plus the 1 is equal to 11. We put the 1 down here, under the 7, and we carry the 1. And we'll cross that off because it's been dealt with. And lastly, we have 1 times 5, which is equal to 5, plus 1 is equal to 6. Good. Okay, so now, because we're moving over 2 into the hundreds, we're going to put 2 zeros. Okay, and then if it was 4 on the bottom, in the next line that we move over, we put 3. And it's just to show where we're falling in the place value of this bottom number here. Okay, so now, step 3, we're looking at 4. So we have 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. Good job. So the 2 here, and we carry the 1. Good. So then we have 2 times 4, which is equal to 8, plus the 1 that we carried over, which is equal to 9. Good. And then lastly, we have 1 times 4, and because we didn't carry over, we just have 4. So then we have the 4, and that's it for multiplication, so now we're going to add them all up. So 8 plus nothing and nothing is still 8. 5 plus 3 is 8 again, plus 0. We have 7 plus 1, which is 8, plus 2, which is 10. So we put the 0 down here, and guess what? We carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 6 is 16. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. So 123 times 456 is equal to 56,088. Good. So that's multi-digit multiplication in the long form. This is something that you've probably learned, but because we have phones and technology all the time, writing it out is something that we forget how to do. So that was the purpose of the video, is just to kind of rejig your memory so that this gets moved into the forefront. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at info@cla-buildingskills.ca, or you can leave a comment below in this video and we can answer any questions. Or if you have something else math related that you have any questions about, just leave us a comment either in an email or in this video, and we'll make sure to get that content across to you. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.